drum roll of the week.
You know what, yeah, I don't think there was even that much football news, to be honest, this week, so just wrap up the episode there. It's been a pleasure. It's your boy, No Trim Niran. We're back once again, and you are watching FTW. This, of course, is the series where I bring to you the best and more frequently the worst of what football has to offer online and on social media during the course of the week. And you know what, lads? I'll cut to the chase. We'll address the elephant in the room. There's realistically been better days to be a Liverpool fan. I felt less pain watching a Christian Poulsen and Jay Spearing double pivot. They weren't even a double pivot. They each were half a pivot to make one singular pivot, and that was still better than Sunday. Liverpool were absolutely demolished. 7-2 by Aston Villa this weekend in the Premier League. We were in fact dicked. Dash this on OnlyFans and you're getting a solid $10 a month. I'm being serious. This was actually an illegal performance in most areas of the UK. Genuinely. Because you can't be letting more than 6 in most of the time. October may have seen Boris Johnson's rule of 6 come into effect, but it was a rule of 7 at Villa Park. As listen, lads, we've had a good innings, okay, but I would like to issue the following statement. Wish. But before I rip into Liverpool mercilessly, I would like to give quite a lot of credit to Aston Villa. Generally speaking, played extremely well, coming to the champions and being positive and playing attacking football and scoring 7 past them deserves far more credit than they've actually received. Plus, they've been very good overall this season. So, to be honest with you, right, this actually could be an intelligent plan from Klopp. By conceding 7 goals to Aston Villa, we've given them an exponential rise in confidence, which they can then use to take further points off our Premier League rivals, the likes of Manchester City. Oh, who am I kidding, fam? We play Aston Villa again before they even play Manchester City. We're done for. But it's okay. It's all right because Graham Souness has an explanation for everything.
I think they left the grass longer than normal because to slow Liverpool.
You know what? He might be onto something. It's all in the mathematics of the angles and millimeter precise length of the grass. Just null and void the season, fam. I hope you're ready, folks. Alright, strap yourselves in because these lot won the Premier League last year. We're all farmers. Get your combine harvesters out. And as for the goalkeeping situation, whoever injured Alisson in training, I want them tried in a court of law.
Adrian's got to be in goal today. He's going to be grand. He won't be conceding 6, unlike, you know, the other lot.
Is it worth it? Is it worth going through this anguish every week?
This man is a war criminal. Don't get me wrong, the entire team performance was absolutely abysmal. But when it comes to Adrian, what is my man even doing in this situation? Lads, hear what? Yeah, but I'm pretty sure I've left my oven on at home. The grill.
Enjoy.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
76. I deserve more.
He genuinely reckons he should be over 76 overall. I've seen 76-year-olds be better in between the sticks. Richarlison posted this picture of himself at full time, obviously the number 7 on the back of his shirt, after we conceded. Forget about it. Just give him a Housery award. But at least we weren't the only ones. My one slice of happiness in a never-ending pit of despair. My one slice of happiness came in the form of 10-man Manchester United getting pummeled 6-1 by Tottenham. Sir Alex Ferguson has packed it in, fam. He's seen enough. Now listen, I'm not one to talk, given this week we've just shipped 7 to a side that almost got relegated last year. But in terms of consistent terribleness, that's not a word, but in terms of being consistently terrible, Manchester United are actually on a new level right now. We're talking a disappointing loss to Palace, extremely lucky against Brighton. They should have lost that game. And now they've been annihilated by Tottenham. And it could have been 4-1 before the red card even happened. Speaking of which, Eric Lamela could probably consider a career change.
The Oscar goes to
Eric fucking Lamela.
But it's not hard to see why Manchester United are doing so poorly when they've got a Bosch Series 4 fridge freezer with a silver energy rating at centre-back. He's simply David Luiz with a blue passport. Shkodran Mustafi, but with a legitimate TV licence. What level of discombobulation do you have to be at to pull your own teammate defender down when he's trying to clear the ball away? United fans have simply had enough. They've started a petition to reopen the assault case of Harry Maguire in Mykonos. He claimed that he wanted to help his teammates with social media pressure on Sky Sports this week. How about you help your teammates with their own defensive pressure in games? And after the catastrophic defensive displays in the Premier League over the weekend, Specsavers tweeted that they were offering free tests for Premier League defenders from Monday. Jose Mourinho has duppied his old club, patted his successor on the head, and then stared into the camera lens. This man is something else. Manchester City got amongst the action as well, tweeting simply a handshake emoji in response to Tottenham's win given their 6-1 victory a number of years ago. It's a shithousery award for the blue side of Manchester. Is this the end of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? I mean, he's clearly not the man to take United forward in my eyes. I can only imagine his press conferences. Well, you know, Sir Alex Ferguson did this once too, eh? A 6 is good in cricket, at least, am I right? What must Jadon Sancho be thinking in this situation? Hello? Jadon, yo, it's your boy, Edward Woodward, you know, the triple wood threat. Yes, yeah, what do you want? So basically, you know, I know we're kind of G's now. I didn't know if you wanted to... Oh, yes, Madge, you know, I'm actually just I'm going through a tunnel right now. Jadon, I rang you on your home phone number. Elsewhere, and we've got extremely wholesome footage of Roy Hodgson trying to take a knee in a very cramped location. Bless him. I love the guy. I wish he was my granddad. He probably has to get a stairlift to his dugout. Up at Goodison Park, and Everton are actually going to win the league. I've had enough of football. They claimed yet another impressive victory, this time at home, 4-2 against Brighton, and it featured a 10 out of 10 celebration after a goal from Yerry Mina. Seamus Coleman, not exactly sure he'd give it the same rating, but it was a 1 out of 10 performance from Jordan Pickford. Yet another mistake from him leading to a goal from Neil Maupay this time. It's not his fault though, okay? With such small arms for such a large body. And in the biggest shock of the day, West Ham United won a second game in a row. I'm not being funny, since David Moyes got corona and had to lead the team from home, they've actually got better. This Zoom subscription is their signing of the season. If I'm the rest of the staff, I'm not letting the guy back into the training ground.
Banner, I open the door.
I'm not going to tell you again. Fuck off. You're shit.
Though in fairness, Leicester probably could have made it a little bit more difficult for them.
Don't kill me. Look at Tielemans. Look at Tielemans. Oh my god, look at him.
Elsewhere and on Twitter, Aymeric Laporte had to explain to a Manchester City fan this week that he's not saying, "Hi, I'm Eric Laporte." His name is actually Aymeric. I mean, just has the person not even seen the name written down? Meanwhile, over at Chelsea, and I'm hearing Reece James has got a new trim. So nah, I'm sorry, I've got to bring the segment back, fam. But now it's that time in the show again. It's time for Trim Watch. See, this explains why Frank Lampard's dropped him to the subs bench. I'd do the same if he came to training as Minnie Mouse. In the Carabao Cup, Manchester City faced Burnley. Raheem Sterling put in a robust challenge on Matthew Lowton, and Sean Dyche had something to say about it.
Fucking fun off your fucking life on the floor, son.
Firm, big Brexit energy from Sean. Over at Wolves, and pacey winger Adama Traore found himself with a selection headache this week because he's been called up to both the Spanish and Malian national team. How at your big age have you not decided who you want to play for? To be honest, he's big enough. They could just split him in half and still get a player each. In European competition now, an AC Milan faced Rio Aves of Portugal for a place in the Europa League. The game went into a mammoth penalty shootout where both goalkeepers had to take penalties themselves. It saw a calamity of penalties. Like, genuinely, I've never seen the likes before. But in the end, AC Milan came out on top. In the same competition, and Danish side Copenhagen are out of the tournament because of this goal.
Kulenovic helt alene med en 2-3. FC København spiller Sigurdsson glider, og han fælder Victor Nielsen. Det er helt forfærdeligt det her. Nej. Det er
Meanwhile, over in Italy, in the Serie A game between Juventus and Napoli has had to be postponed, with Napoli likely to have to forfeit the fixture. This is because going into it, 2 players from Naples and one of their coaching staff tested positive for corona. They were given medical advice suggesting they shouldn't travel to the Juve game, but had their appeal for postponement rejected by the league. Juve turned up to the game and just sat in the stands for 45 minutes before the game was called off. Nice to see them utilising the Messer Ozil strategy here. Barcelona have been making headlines on social media this week. Firstly, for this quite outlandish caption, just who thought this would be a good idea? Meanwhile, they got their new American signing, Sergino Dest, to do kick-ups at his announcement. This was the outcome.
Agafen aquests tradicionals tocs, ben autèntiques virgueries de lateral dret, com deies, escollit talent de l'any.
At this point, why do they do it, fam? This happens every single time. Meanwhile, over at Mallorca,
Martin Valgent, protagonista, l'MVP del partit en el dia d'avui. Endavant, companys.
hello all and welcome to The Beautiful Game, the segment where we take a look at the poetic and brilliant side of the game that we love. We are back by popular demand for yet more glorious beauty.
gol tá aberto, olha o chute!
And that concludes The Beautiful Game. Now, picture this. It's the Portuguese league and Porto are 3-2 down against Maritimo. They've got a chance for a penalty with Alex Telles, but Maritimo's goalkeeper has got some mind games in his locker.
Telles vai ter nos pés a possibilidade de marcar. Autoriza o árbitro Rui Costa.
This man not only saved a penalty from Alex Telles, he sent him back into a whole different country, bro. We saw an interesting arrangement in the crowd over at RB Leipzig, with a fan deciding to use his beard as a mask, except you can't see the game because the hair is in... Never mind. Down at Chesterfield, and after 203 long days, hype and tension was building ahead of their first game back after Corona. Today's match at Wellston has been called off due to a waterlogged pitch. For goodness sake. Middlesbrough manager Neil Warnock manages his 1,500th game this week. Ahead of that, he's quoted as saying, "The sooner we get fans back, the better. I'd like to get booed at least one more time before I retire." Meanwhile, speaking of championship clubs, one of their finest, Brentford went up against local rivals Fulham in the cup, and Said Benrahma did this. But now, boys and girls, it's time for the FNG Transfer Roundup. Welcome one and all to the Transfer Roundup. You'll notice this is close to the end of the video this week, because that's what we are, late. Always. Our first story comes from North London in the form of Arsenal finally announcing Partey. Alright, let's just calm down there for a second, Tammy. I don't mean an actual. Plus, you can only have 6 of you. Ben, I'm looking at you as well, big man. Elsewhere, and it's been a busy deadline day for Manchester United, with the signings of Brazilian left-back Alex Telles and Uruguayan free agent Edinson Cavani. The former PSG striker's name was thrown in the hat late in the day as far as the Red Devils were concerned, leading to most thinking it was a panic buy. Ed Woodward had this to say: "Long hair, Uruguayan, players like that always turn out well. Like, look at Diego Forlan. He scored..." I didn't mean him, I meant... And finally, there's the transfer story of Eric Maxim Choupo-Moting signing for Bayern. How does this happen? This guy's agent could sell a £3 meal deal for £3.50. But that concludes the transfer roundup. I'll see you once again in January, when the producers let me out of the basement. Now though, it's time for Still 0-0, and you guys know the score by now. This is a segment where I bring to you the best of Sunday League and amateur football. Now once again, we've got 2 separate stories for Still 0-0 this week. First of all is a fashion statement like I have never seen before. A Sunday League player wearing jeans to play football. I have seen a lot of things, okay? He's got the socks over the jeans. Now, you know what, right? The shin pads fit really snugly under the Levi's. And crossing into European Sunday League football now, we head over to Bosnia for some vintage Still 0-0 content. On On to the weird stuff though now. Up in Scotland, and lower league side Montrose have signed Martin Rennie. This is the announcement video they did for him.
Come on! Give me... Yes! Yes!
I mean, if it's anything like a Road to Jour pack opening, they've probably faked the entire transfer. Over in America, and with a score level in the 90th minute, we saw this last-minute winner.
Johnson forward. Safe for Butler. It took a deflection off of Barrera, and somehow it goes in!
We had this shocking revelation from Morgue here, announcing she'd found out her mum shagged former Bolton and West Ham striker Ricardo Vazte. I'm glad he was able to score somewhere in his life. Over in Argentina, and Diego Maradona is being interviewed on the move. That is, however, causing a slight issue when it comes to the advertising boards in the background. Boss, please, I've been carrying this for 30 minutes. I'm weak. And finally, on a pretty different note, I'd like to give a large shout out to American side San Diego Royals. Managed by Landon Donovan, they decided to walk off the pitch whilst winning a game because one of their players was subject to a homophobic slur during the football match. Obviously, this sort of thing happens quite regularly on the pitch, and I saw a lot of people saying they should just man up about it because it happens so regularly. Just because it happens regularly doesn't mean that it's right. Ultimately, there's not a single openly gay footballer in this country, and stuff like this happening so regularly is probably one of the reasons why. So even though it seems like a harmless dig at someone, even though it clearly isn't, the fact they've taken a stand is brilliant, and hopefully we see more teams do similar things going forward. But that is going to wrap up football this week, and I hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, then feel free to slap a like on the video and subscribe if you're new to the channel. You can also follow me on social media. It is at @theofficialfng on Twitter and on Insta. But it's been a pleasure ranting at you guys today. Have a wonderful day, enjoy yourselves, and goodbye.